So here's a Paul Reed Smith SE Standard, 24 frets. And I'm going to put some Hipshot tuners on it. Nothing wrong with these tuners at all. I just like to be able to switch my strings out very quickly with locking tuners. So that's what these Hipshots are, and they're black. I think it'll look nice with the guitar. I think it'll look better actually than the chrome tuners. And the first thing I'm going to do, of course, is unscrew these tiny little screws right here on each one of these, and release. There's probably a bushing on the other side too. I'm going to have to release with a nut. Just FYI, it looks like it's the old 10 millimeter ratchet that works here to get these off. Go ahead and save these because these are really nice tuners. Just not what I need on this particular instrument myself. Now, usually with Hipshots, you've got a thing called an ump, which is a little plate that goes along the back of these things and keeps you from having to drill holes. I am going to have to drill holes in these. I'm trying to get them lined up exactly the way I think they're going to be just about right. And so these are going to have to be slightly drilled. I'm just going to get them placed. Then I'm going to take these bushings and put them on the back side and get these positioned well. Then I will drill the holes and put them in, those screws in, after I get these kind of locked down a bit. So this is easy enough to do. You just put the washer on the screw or the bushing. I've already done it with this one, see, I've just kind of thumb tightened it. It's not going to come out. I'm going to do each one of these same way. Just come in from the bottom. You can just do it by feel more than anything. I'm just screwing that in at the bottom. Getting it where it's, like I say, thumb tightened so that I can kind of see how I want it positioned. And that'll allow me to drill the hole that I want to put in there so that the screw stays and then locks it in place. So I'm going to do that for the other 4 of these. Now, so you'll know, I did use the ratchet part here just to turn this over and tightened it so that they would kind of hold in place. They'd kind of bind. They're not locked down yet with the screw. That has to be done. But I held this in my lap and I checked to make sure that this felt natural for the location for where the tuners stuck out. It's a little different the way that the slope of the neck or the slope of the headstock is on a PRS. It's not like on a Fender or a Gibson. It's not as uniform. So there's a little bit of variation there, of course, as far as the size goes. So I sort of have these, I was loose enough that I could rotate them a little bit one way or the other until I got them where they felt natural. So I feel pretty good about going ahead and drilling a little hole in each one of these so that I can put the screws in. And of course they come with these tiny little black screws like this little guy right here. So I've chosen a 1/16, just a very tiny thin little bit to drill this with. All right, check that. I went just a little bit bigger. I think this is a 5/64 is what I'm going to use. Okay, so I finished screwing those in, and I did turn it over and ratchet these down just very slightly. I took this and gave it not even an eighth, maybe an eighth of a turn, just to make sure they're really good and on there firm, but I sure don't want to bite down into the wood. So right now they're just holding nice and tight, but not ultra tight. Time to put some strings on. Now, before I string it, I'm going to put a little bit of nut sauce in here. The person who I got this guitar from had altered the nut slightly, and he wanted to use really heavy strings. I like to use 9/42s, but this stuff is really good. He's sort of, I hope I don't have to change the nut out. It is a bone nut, to my understanding, so hopefully it's not too wide to work with the 9/42s. That is the gauge that I prefer. So this stuff is pretty good. This is the Dario makes the friction remover. And so I'm just putting it in there just to be extra safe. I also have a graphite type thing that I use as well, but this stuff works really fantastically. It comes with these little brushes to get that down in there real good. So yes, these are my choice. The Ernie Ball Super Slinky Pink. I'll probably run through 500 of these in my lifetime.